A very warm welcome and thank you so much for staying with KTS. Of course, I'm very glad that you're watching our today's episode of the Straight Talk program. I'm your host, Regina Olado, and with me in the show today is Mr. Joseph Wanyonyi, a political analyst and also a man who has several caps. So I'll just give you an opportunity to introduce yourself to our audience.
Thank you so much. My name is Joseph Wanyonyi. I'm professionally I'm a teacher. I'm a retired journalist. I'm a high school teacher. I'm a resident of Wanyonyi County. I stay in Maidine, in Kapsawaj Ward. Currently, I'm so much interested in politics, so I put aside teaching to look at the political developments in the region.
Okay. Thank you so much for that, Mr. Wanyonyi. And of course, remember, this is our show where we talk about politics. We also discuss national issues. And today we are going to look at national politics, county politics, and the North Rift politics. So stay tuned to our show today. Mr. Wanyonyi, let's begin with our region where we are. That's the Wanyonyi County. What do you have to say about the current gubernatorial contest? Of course, we have Gundotich, we have Mandago, who is the incumbent governor, and of course we also have other aspirants. What's your view as far as the contest is concerned?
We have Buzeki, Gundotich, and the rest, Jubilee, ticket. We have the sitting governor, Jackson Mandago. We have Butit, we have Kigen, we have Dr. Serem, but let's away the three. Kigen, Butit, and Dr. Serem. The biggest fight is between Jackson Mandago, the sitting governor, and Mr. Buzeki.
Sure.
There's going to be very serious showdown. Up to this minute as we talk, we can't know who will carry the day. It is difficult to say. But this is the scenario. Many people think this is Nandi land.
Sure.
And Nandi is dominant among the Kalenjin sub-tribes. So they should carry the day. Fortunately, the sitting governor, Jackson Mandago, comes from the Nandi.
Sure.
So he's safe, if that is what to go by. But on the other hand, we have Mr. Buzeki, who comes from the KO.
Sure.
He looks, he has the backing of the Marakwet. He has the backing of other tribes. Like, he says he's married to Kikuyu. So he has the Kikuyu voice. He's sure. He's really, really banging on the minority groups in Wanyonyi to vote for him.
Okay.
Those ones who believe that he can bring change. So the contest is going to be so brazen.
Right.
It's a very brazen battle. Any one of them can carry the day.
Right.
We are looking at Jackson Mandago and we are looking at Buzeki.
Right.
These two, one of them will end up being the governor.
And you're saying that the contest will majorly be among between the Nandis and the Kiyos. So does it mean that we are still going to vote on the basis of ethnicity?
Where we are, we cannot rule out ethnicity. Things will always narrow down to where do you come from.
Sure.
This is what's an issue. As much as we boast and we see, this is cosmopolitan. But the politics of this area has to go back to who is who. Where does this person come from?
All right.
You remember in the last election in 2013, when Governor Mandago was, battled it out with Professor Kamar.
Sure.
Even many Nandis and many other people said, she's good. She has performed where she has been as Minister of Higher Education. Unfortunately, she's a K. So she was not given just because she was a K. Apart from another factor where they would say because she was a woman. But it was so much, where does she come from?
Sure.
She's a K. So if the same politics play today, then it puts Mr. Buzeki to a disadvantage. But then, it's like Buzeki is gathering momentum, because his camp is gathering momentum because he is trying to woo the minority tribes. That is the Luya, the Kisi, the Kikuyus, the Luos, the Somalis.
Trying to bring everyone on board.
Everyone on board. Okay. Everyone on board.
And from Western Gishu County, let's move to the North Rift region at large. And recently we've had this thing of the rift in the valley. We've had so many people saying that. And recently in Narok, we had the CCM leader and the KANU leader saying that they are going to work together to ensure that DP's dominance in the North Rift region is curtailed. So what do you have to say about this?
It's a big problem. Yeah. I've heard them say we support the president, but we do not support the presidency. What I mean is that they seem not to be very comfortable or in good books with the DP. That is Gideon and Isaac Ruto. And that is why we have a rift in the Rift Valley, right? Yeah. This has, broken down the Rift Valley into smaller units. Now we have the Pokot, who are KANU, and those ones back Gideon Moi. Sure. We have the Margaret and the Keyo, who back Gideon Moi. We have Baringo, the Tugen, who back Gideon Moi 100%. And now, the other side, we have the Kipsigis, who see Isaac Ruto as their king. Yeah. They have almost forgotten that we have the DP, who is the community spokesman.
Sure.
So, that leaves the DP only with the Nandis, right? Yeah. So that shows he's not going very far, right? So their rebellion, like you can see, has actually narrowed down the chances of the DP. I can say that it has become very difficult for the DP to control the entire region because of the rebellion from the two leaders. Right? So as we talk today, Rift Valley is divided. It's not guaranteed. Even when they say that Rift Valley backs the president today, or Rift Valley backs NASA, it is not complete.
Yeah. You cannot just be as a block.
No, not as a block. Yeah, people have become independent-minded. And it's like the Kalenjin community, just like other communities like where I come from, have decided of late. They don't follow the advice from the Wazir. The old men, they are not guided by the old men anymore. They have become democratic. Right. Everyone wants to choose the leader that suits them in their own way.
Okay, but again, from where you sit as a political analyst, do you think it's right to say that, does it make sense to say that I support the president and not the DP, even though these people, we know very well that they are going to go to the polls as a pair? So even if you support the president and not the DP, does it make sense?
It doesn't make much sense. Yeah. But actually, it's like Gideon Moi and Isaac Ruto are expressing their anger, in that way. Yeah. They are supporting Jubilee, of course. As much as they say they support the president and not the DP, they are supporting the two of them. Yeah. But they want to pop the public and everyone else to know that as much as they support Jubilee, they are not in Jubilee, or they are not supporting Jubilee because of the DP. They are supporting Jubilee because of the president, not because of the DP.
So their votes will still go to the president?
Their votes will still go to the president, and if the president wins, then the DP has won. But actually, they have expressed their anger. They have expressed themselves that actually they are not for him. They are not under him. They are not working with him as much as they are working with the president.
All right. And talking of KANU, we recently saw the chairman, mix a lot, saying that tuko ndani in NASA. And now some days later, we find Gideon Moi coming out and saying that they are going to support the Jubilee. They are going to support Uhuru Kenyatta in his bid to become the next president. So, and because recently, even before that, we saw Gideon Moi really behind NASA. So, and after intervention, after we saw Mama Ngina in her visit to the former president Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, and we also saw Uhuru Kenyatta going to the same former president. So, what does this speak?
KANU is Moi, and Moi is KANU.
Sure.
So he still has a lot of say, and he can decide the direction of the party. As a former president, as Moi, you know. He can control Gideon. He can tame him. But you know, like the Mamangela Kenyatta plays a major role in the politics of this country.
Sure.
From under the table. You may not know her movement, but she does so much.
Sure.
You know, they may have sat down and looked at things right from those days when we may have been, when we were very young.
Sure.
Then they said, Gideon must support the president. Don't forget that Uhuru Kenyatta is President Moi's boy. Gideon Moi is President Moi's boy, right?
Sure.
So there's no way he can go against one. You remember in 2002, the president brought Mheshimiwa Uhuru Kenyatta from nowhere, and he said he's vying for presidency. As much as he lost, that indicates to us, that shows us that that is his boy, right? So he cannot have his own two boys go against one another. So that one was obvious. But Gideon may have accepted this Shingo Upande, you know, because this was the time. All of us knew that Gideon was going for this seat.
Sure.
And if he was not going, he was getting prepared for 2022. He was preparing for 2022 to test the waters. Not that time he wasn't going to test the waters. He was going for it. So right now, had it not been the intervention of Mamangina Kenyatta and the former president, I think things could be different. If Kanu joined NASA, the deal could be sealed. We would say NASA has already taken the deal, right? Yeah.
And now let's look at Bomet County, where we have the CCM leader. He has not really declared his stand, whether his party will join Jubilee or NASA. So what is the likelihood?
One thing I'm sure of is that he's not going to break his party. He'll remain intact, but he may support either side. But given that he walks around with Gideon Moi and he heads from this region, I know they'll prevail upon him also. He will tilt towards Jubilee. Not because he likes it, not because he likes his association, the presidency.
Yeah.
You know, he likes the president, but he doesn't like the presidency. But they'll prevail upon him, you know. He will tilt towards Jubilee at the end of the day.
Why? Is it because he wants to secure his chance as the next governor?
One thing we are almost assured is that he will secure the chance. Fortunately, in Kalenjin land, the few years I've been here, Kalenjins don't vote in people who are so quiet, who look church-going, you know, pastory, you know. No. They want very, very, very tough guys, vibrant guys and tough guys who take on other leaders. Those ones never lose elections. So the chances of Mheshimiwa Isaac Ruto retaining the seat are almost 100%, right? He will retain the seat. Whether he supports the Jubilee or he supports NASA. But one thing I'm assured is that he will tilt towards Jubilee at the end of the day.
Okay, so let's look at the turn-up during NASA rallies. It's no longer called the NASA rallies. We've seen huge numbers turn out in Meru, in Uasin Gishu County, where they had a rally at 64 grounds. And we also see how people turned out in large numbers during their rally in Narok. And in Narok, we also had people coming out and saying that Narok inarudi kwa wenyewe sasa. What should this speak to Jubilee? Does the number speak, or they're just people who come to attend rallies?
Now, when people come to attend rallies, they have a reason, right? If I hate you, why would I come near you? But if I love you, I like you, I'll always want to come near you. These numbers that you see, a change in fortune, that's a change in fortune for NASA. NASA is gaining momentum, and it should not be underrated. In fact, it's giving Jubilee sleepless nights. Because like here, in Uasin Gishu where we are, all of a sudden, the Kalenjin community has become so democratic. You speak to youth, you speak to old men, I mean, you see, there are much of, you know, everyone wants to vote in a party. In fact, NASA this time round may get more votes in this region more than any other time. I can remember last time COD, you know, Mheshimiwa Raila had about 66,000 votes in Uasin Gishu County. This time, the number will triple, not even double. Why? People have become democratic. I am not saying this because I support NASA or Jubilee, but, from observation, people have changed, the way people behave, the way people talk, and this time round, let no one say people were transported to this place. No, the many people I saw at 64 Stadium walked.
Change of the mind.
Just change of the mind. And it's also because, in a way, Jubilee has not been able to make people happy. People are so poor. The poverty levels are so high. Now, people want to cling on anything. Not only in Uasin Gishu, everywhere. They want to cling on anything that is there. They think with the hope that things might change. So even what you saw in 61st Stadium, what you saw in Meru, what you saw in Narok, and what you will continue seeing in the near future in other places is a clear indicator that people want hope. People are tired somewhere. People wamefinyika mahali. They think by them, showing or standing in solidarity with the NASA, there could be a change, not only in their mind, but even in their pockets. There's a lot of poverty, the poverty levels are so high in this, and there's no hope for the future. It's like we are moving from bad to worse. So people, those numbers you see is an indicator of tiredness. People are tired. People are looking for hope, and they are not for free. NASA is likely to give Jubilee a run for its money.
Okay, let's look at Baringo. What is currently going on there? The cattle rustling, the killings that are going on there. So despite the fact that KANU has solely joined NASA, do you think what is currently going on there might shift their votes?
I may not be very competent to talk about this issue, but I'm only worried. We don't know why we would have this kind of scenarios,
Sure.
This kind of killings, this kind of inhuman acts, only during election years, like now. When in election years, there's so many things that come up
Sure.
in these regions. We don't know why. This issue may be politically motivated. You never know.
Yeah.
It might be politically motivated. The government should go to the bottom of the matter and see. It could also be intimidation in a way. Now in such intimidation. Okay, that is one politician, trying to say, if you don't do this, then I'll do this. Forcing people, flexing muscles.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you don't vote for me, then I'll do this. If you do this, then I'll not do this. So they have sent the region the other way around. But the government has all the machinery. It is able to stop the killings. If we can go and send our soldiers to Somalia and fight and kill, and even capture Kismayo. I mean, what are you talking about here?
Baringo.
This is Baringo. If we can protect the lives of Somalis, you mean we cannot protect the lives of Kenyans? Here, it's not only about cattle wrestling. It's not about the inhuman killings. Look at the malnutrition. Look at the people dying of hunger, and they're right in this country. So the government, the national government, is sleeping at the job somewhere. They're sleeping at the job because the killings will not be there, and these threats will not be there. Now schools are closed down. People may not vote, even in those areas. How do you now expect even the NASA to go to that region? They may not want, because even the DP was there, and while he was addressing a rally, you saw what happened, and it is in Jubilee.
Sure.
So it is not favorable, not only for Jubilee, but even for NASA and for the nation at large. I think it is not the right way to go.
All right. The Straight Talk program takes a short break, but stay right there because we still have an interesting discussion lined up for you. Stay tuned to KTS and keep talking to us through the number on your screens.